Hi, I hope everybody's doing well. It is Monday of week 12 of our class. And I think I mentioned to you all that I was out of town part of last week in Orlando for a social work conference. So, as you can probably tell from my turtleneck, I am back from Florida. I'm in Connecticut. It's cold here. I'm not cranky at all about it. I'm thrilled to be home. And so I wanted to talk today about what's coming on this week, but I also wanted to give you a little bit of a blueprint of what's coming forward. And we are at the point where I can put everything that's left to do in the semester on one piece of paper. That's pretty exciting, right? So I want to say first things first that your most important priority for the next part of this class is your literature review. And so I really want you to focus on that first. And so your draft was due on Sunday, and I know that things happen in life and there's a couple people still working on theirs, but it's really important that you get that draft submitted through the Blackboard thread, because then or via email, however you did it, so that your partner will have the opportunity to give you a peer review on that. If you've never done peer review before, although I think it happened in many of our classes, so I imagine you have, the point of this is to have somebody read your paper who's totally unfamiliar with it and give you feedback as sort of an outside objective reader of what they see and what suggestions they have for you. So after you've submitted your paper via the Blackboard link, you're going to download from the activities section of this week the peer review form, and then you're just going to put in your name and your partner's name and read through their paper and give them feedback, and then you're going to submit that peer review form back through Blackboard. So that way I'll be able to see that you did it, and your partner will be able to see the feedback that you got. Certainly it would be really helpful if you could get that done. The deadline is this Sunday, but if you can get that done throughout the course of this week, that's going to be really helpful for your partner so that they have more time to incorporate those changes into the literature review. As you have probably figured out, week 13 this semester has ended up coinciding with Thanksgiving. And so what I am recommending that you do, your literature review is due by the end of next Sunday, so a week from this Sunday. And you can turn it in any time between now and then. I was just talking with one of your classmates today who was talking about needing a break, and I certainly appreciate that. So I don't want you to feel like you have to work on this over Thanksgiving, and turn it in as soon as you're done with it, and that way you can cross that off your list. I don't know if you can see on the whiteboard behind me, I crossed a couple things off my list this morning. That was pretty exciting. So other than the lit review, the rest of the work that you're going to do this week is connected to some reading in the book. So you have, if you look at the reading list for this week, it's a lot, but I don't want you to think about it as a whole bunch of things you have to read and memorize. There's only one chapter that you have a quiz for, and that's the chapter about choosing a data collection method. That's chapter 16 in the new edition and chapter 14 in the old edition. And then I want you to think of the rest of the readings for this week as help and support. So the Blackboard recommends that you look at the two chapters about quantitative and qualitative data collection as a resource. Also, there's chapters on analyzing quantitative and qualitative data. That's a great resource, but there's no quizzes on any of that, and the data analysis content is not on your final exam. Repeat, not on your final exam. So read it, absorb what you need from it, but don't feel like you have to focus on it. The other reading for this week is out of the Pan book, and again, that's to help you get ready to do that final lit review. So it's things around putting your reference list together, your abstract, that kind of thing. So again, this is a resource for you. So read it and pull out of it what you need. So that's really what you're going to do for this week. It's not a ton of work, and so what I would recommend that you do is spend as much time as you can on the literature review and get as much of that done as you possibly can, because I'm just trying to pull up the specific due dates for you, because you want to make sure that you can get that out of the way and enjoy some time off at Thanksgiving. Along those lines, just so that's this week, I want to talk a little bit about the last 3 weeks of the semester that are heading up. So next week is week 13. And again, the most important thing you'll do for next week is finish your lit review. The readings and discussion for next week are around evidence-based practice, which is a really important area of social work and something you're definitely going to need to know in future semesters. But I'm going to make that discussion board for next week optional. So if you want to do it, you can do it. If you want to bump up your grade, if you're worried about anything, it's a good chance to do that. But otherwise, if you want to just read the readings and then move on and take some time for you and your family, you have my 100% support on that. The week after that, so the week after Thanksgiving, the first week of December is week 14 of our class. And that week, you're going to take everything that you've been doing in your lit review and you're going to focus on presenting it as a poster. So essentially the goal for this is just to help you practice another way that you might present research that you've done and data that you've collected. And so there's a ton of resources in Blackboard for how to do that, but you want to wait to do that until you've finished your literature review. But as soon as you're done with your lit review, you can start that. And I actually find these to be really great to look at. It's a great way to visually represent all the hard work you've done over this semester, so I hope it'll feel the same to you. Week 14 also has our last 2 quizzes, so there's 2 chapters to read and then 2 quizzes on those, and then you're done with your quizzes. The final week of the semester is your final exam, week 14, so it's the second week in December. Nobody likes a final exam, I know. But I really want you to keep in mind that your final exam is only 10% of your overall grade. And so really what your final exam does is just helps you practice taking a multiple choice exam, because we want you to be used to that. So when you go to take your licensure exam, if you choose to do so, you'll feel more confident about doing that. So that's the point of the final exam. It's a teeny tiny portion of your grade. So I want you to, I want you to feel prepared for it and I want you to do well on it, but I also don't want it to take on a big significance to you, because everything else that you're doing in this class is important and allows you to sort of assess how you're understanding the material in different ways. So final exam is just an exam. Please don't give it any more importance than that, which I know is easier for me to say than it is to do, but I promise you, I mean it. And then the last week of class, you'll have a chance to look at each other's posters, and we'll do a discussion, and then you'll submit your evaluation of your own professional behaviors. And that's it. And then our semester is over. So I'm going to post this to Blackboard today, and I'll be around if you have questions or concerns or there's anything I can do to help. And also, I don't know if we have any veterans in the class, so if we do, happy observed Veterans Day, and thank you for your service. So have a good Monday. Cold as it may be. If you're someplace warmer than me, you can feel free to send me a picture of like some nice sunny skies and warm weather. Maybe that will make me feel a little bit warmer. And I look forward to talking with you all soon. Okay, bye-bye.